She shared, "Ripped to my fiancé's lies, caught him cheating." Plus our private photo. Just time-stamped evidence retained an attorney and filed for $180K. When her influencer deal crumbled via ethics clause and the spliced proof exposed her fraud, my phone exploded with notifications, one after another like bullets from a gun I didn't see coming. RIP to my relationship. He cheated. That's what the status said, pinned right there on Brianna's profile with a photo of our engagement ring glinting under some filtered light. I stared at the screen. Friends who usually flooded my feed with memes went silent. Comments poured in under her post, strangers calling me every name in the book, tagging mutuals like it was open season. Scumbag. How could you? The likes climbed into the thousands while I sat there, thumb hovering, not typing a word. She said it was over before I even knew the game had started. But I didn't argue. I opened my laptop, fired up the screen capture tool, and hit save. Timestamp locked in. Hash generated. Then I leaned back and whispered to myself, I don't fight with words. I collect evidence. Brianna and I were oil and water, the kind that doesn't mix, no matter how hard you shake the bottle. She thrived on the spotlight, every post a performance, every like a standing ovation. Me, I kept things close to the chest. Data over drama, spreadsheets over stories. Our worlds collided 2 years back at a tech conference mixer. She was the influencer with the glowing smile pitching her authentic lifestyle brand to anyone who'd listen. I was the guy in the corner debugging code on my phone during small talk. It worked for a while. We balanced each other out. Or so I thought. But looking back, the red flags were waving like emergency flares. She'd twist stories online for engagement, turn a minor spat into relationship goals, with a filter and a caption. When he forgets date night but brings home flowers anyway, blessed. Never mind that the flowers were from a client, thank you, and I'd been neck-deep in a deadline. It wasn't lying, she'd say. It was relatable content. I saw it as noise. She saw it as her currency, our fights about digital life. They were textbooks waiting to happen. I'd unplug after 10 at night, eyes burning from screens, craving quiet. She'd scroll till dawn, chasing trends, building her empire, one viral reel at a time. Noah, this is how I connect. She'd argue, phone glowing in her face like a lifeline. I'd counter with facts, studies on dopamine hits, sleep cycles wrecked by blue light. But facts don't go viral. Her world did. The engagement ring. To her, it was a prop, a shiny emblem for her brand. Our story's about to level up. She'd posted the night I proposed ring angled, just so under ring light comments flooding with heart emojis and sponsor tags. To me, it was a promise. Simple, solid, a quiet vow between two people, not a hashtag. I slipped it on her finger over takeout sushi in our kitchen, no cameras, no crowd. She kissed me, then immediately framed the shot for Instagram. That's when the first crack showed. We'd been together 18 months by then. LuxGlow, her beauty sponsor, had just renewed her contract for 6 figures. My role at the cybersecurity firm was steady lead analyst, buried in audits and threat models. Life felt aligned until it didn't. Those red flags, they weren't warnings. They were blueprints for the storm. The night before it all blew up, we were in the living room, worlds apart, even under the same roof. I hunched over my laptop, running hashes on a client dataset, the soft click of keys, my white noise. Across the couch, Brianna angled her phone, live streaming a glow-up routine to 5,000 viewers. Laughter from her screen mixed with my typing like two frequencies fighting for airtime. She glanced over once mid-story about our perfect couple vibes. I nodded, half listening, focused on the timestamp log. "Babe, say hi to the fam," she whispered, thrusting the phone my way. I waved awkwardly, muttering something about deadlines. The chat exploded. He's so focused, goals. But I caught the eye roll she hid from the camera. 2 screens, 2 realities. Hers electric, mine encrypted. I powered down, first kissed her forehead, and headed to bed. She stayed lit up till 2, chasing the algorithm's approval. That's when it hit me, staring at the ceiling in the dark. Our differences weren't quirks anymore. They were fault lines. And one of us was about to trigger the quake. But here's the thing about quakes. You don't yell at the earth to stop shaking. You brace. You map the exits. You gather your tools and wait for the aftershocks to reveal the truth buried underneath. Silence isn't weakness. It's the first move in a game where noise is the opponent's trap. We grow up thinking power means shouting back, proving your side in the heat of the moment. But real strength, it's choosing not to play their script. It's stepping away without a word, stripping their drama of its fuel, your reaction. In that quiet, you reclaim the board. Their barbs hang in the air, meaningless echoes, because you've already shifted your focus to the evidence, the plan, the path forward. It's counterintuitive, sure. Walk away, and you've won before the fight even starts. You don't need the crowd's applause or the last word. You carry your dignity like the king on the chessboard, leaving them staring at an empty square they set up themselves. That night, as her laughter faded into notifications, I lay there plotting my own quiet strategy. Not revenge, preparation. Because when the ground splits, the smart ones don't argue with the fault line. They build on solid rock. By morning, her post would shatter everything. But I was already one step ahead, timestamp in hand. The screen still glowed with her post, a digital dagger twisting in the quiet of my apartment. I didn't scroll back through the comments. No point feeding the fire. Instead, I pulled up the archive folder I'd started years ago for work, simple, methodical A-vault for truths that couldn't be edited out. Web capture first. I fired up the browser extension, snapped the full page, her profile, the timestamp at 7:42 a.m. The engagement photo we'd taken on that rainy hike last fall, now weaponized with a caption that read like a breakup manifesto. Click. Saved as PNG, metadata intact. Next, the hash. I ran it through the SHA-256 generator, that long string of letters and numbers unique as a fingerprint, proving nothing had been altered since the capture. Copied it to clipboard, pasted into a text file dated and doubly signed. Cloud backup followed, encrypted zip to 3 providers, geo-redundant with access logs enabled. Paranoia numbers are just protocol. In my line of work, one breach could cost a client millions. Why treat my own life any different? I leaned back, coffee going cold on the desk. The phone buzzed again. Zach, my old college roommate, the one guy who still called instead of texting. Dude, you see this? She's torching you live. What the hell happened? I picked up. Zach, don't get mad. Get data. He laughed, sharp and disbelieving. Data man, she's got half our circle thinking you're the villain. You gonna clap back, post your side. You know, I said, voice steady as I queued the next file. Clapping back is what she wants. Fuel for round 2. I'm building the docket. There was a pause on his end, the kind that stretches like taffy. Then, okay, Sherlock. Walk me through it. So I did. Step by step, like briefing a junior analyst. The capture showed the original post unaltered. The hash locked it in time. Backups meant it lived in multiple fortresses, subpoena ready. And the preservation letter that was the velvet glove over the iron fist. I drafted it right there in Google Docs, formal. As a contract demand, she cease and desist from further defamatory statements or face litigation for libel, emotional distress, the works. CC'd to her email, certified mail, en route by noon. Zach whistled low. You're lawyering up already? That's cold, Noah. Ice cold. Not cold. I corrected, hitting send on the draft to review. Calculated. She went public with lies. I go private with proof. We hung up after 20 minutes, him promising to keep his mouth shut. No sides taken, no whispers in group chats. I trusted Zach for that. He was the hothead in college, always charging into debates. Me, I learned early, charge the hill you get picked off. Map it first, then strike from the shadows. By 11, I was out the door, envelope in hand, for the post office. The city blurred past, horns, blaring, pedestrians glued to their screens, oblivious to the wars waging in pixels. I dropped the letter, got the tracking number, and headed straight to Sarah Kim's office in the financial district. Sarah wasn't just any attorney. She was the one who'd handled my firm's IP disputes last year, sharp as a server blade with a Rolodex of judges who owed her favors. Korean-American mid-40s, always in tailored suits that said, I bill by the hour and it's worth every penny. Her receptionist waved me in without a word. Sarah looked up from her desk glasses, perched low, scanning me like code for vulnerabilities. Noah. This about the ex. Word travels fast in our circles. Or maybe Zach texted her. I slid the printout of the post across the desk, followed by my evidence folder on a thumb drive. Brianna Hale. Posted this morning. Accusation of infidelity, no proof public forum. Engagement photo attached hours from last October. It's gaining traction, 12,000 engagements, already brands pulling back from her, but the damage to me, it's spilling into work inquiries. She skimmed the capture, eyes flicking to the hash chain. Nodded once. Solid start. You've preserved the digital trail like a pro. Most clients come in panicking screenshots deleted by accident. She plugged in the drive, pulled up the files. Libel per se, false statement of moral turpitude published to third parties, damages presumed. We can push for $200,000 easy. Punitive if we show malice. I paused there, letting the number hang. $200,000. Not for greed, for the principle. For the nights I'd wake up to her scrolling beside me, wondering if our life was just content fodder. For the trust she'd shredded with one thumb swipe. Sarah leaned forward, tapping the screen. Strategy cease and desist goes out today. If she ignores, and influencers like her, often do we file in small claims for speed or superior court for the full show. Your hashes gold. They prove tampering if she tries to scrub or edit. And that timeline post at 7:42, your capture at 7:45. Ironclad. We mapped it out over the next hour, discovery phase depositions, where her evidence would crumble under cross. I mentioned the red flags, the curated stories, the late-night lives that turned private moments public. Sarah jotted notes, her pen scratching like a metronome. Motive matters. Shows pattern of exploitation. Will subpoena her analytics prove the engagement spike was the goal. By the time I left, the sun was dipping low, casting long shadows over the harbor. $200,000 wasn't the win. It was the quiet click of the puzzle locking into place. Brianna thought she'd lit a match. I was building a firewall. But here's where the real power kicks in. That montage of receipts, the digital chronicle you never see coming. It's not flashy, no dramatic music swells or slow-mo reveals. Just the steady accumulation, layer by layer, of unassailable truth. Start with the screenshot, not just the image, but the full DOM capture, every pixel, every embedded link, time-stamped to the millisecond. Hash it immediately, SHA-256 or better, turning your evidence into a cryptographic vow that says, this existed exactly like this and I can prove it. Then the backups, triple them across providers that don't share jurisdictions. Encrypt with AES-256 key your own damn self. Log every access, who's viewed it, when, from where. It's your breadcrumb trail in reverse, leading straight back to the source. And the preservation letter, that's the polite bomb. Formal notice on letterhead detailing the claims, demanding retraction within 72 hours with a carbon copy to her legal team or lack thereof. It plants the seed. This isn't a spat. It's a suit. Why does this work? Because in the court of public opinion, noise drowns facts. But in the real one, judges eat timelines for breakfast. Your montage isn't vengeance. It's vindication wrapped in procedure. One altered metadata flag, one mismatched time zone, and their house of cards folds. Quiet power isn't silent suffering. It's the archive that outlasts the outrage, the ledger that levels the field. Build it right, and you don't just win, you rewrite the story they tried to script. I pocketed Sarah's card, the one with her direct line scribbled on back. Call if she responds, she said at the door. Or doesn't. Either way, we're rolling. Back home, I poured a Scotch single malt, no ice, and watched the post's metrics climb from my secondary account, anonymous as a ghost. Brianna was live now, tears streaming under perfect lighting, spinning her truth to a sympathetic feed. Comments cheered her on. You deserve better. He's a liar. I didn't watch long. Instead, I cued the next hash run, eyes on the clock. Her video hit peak views at 8:15. Mine, it would peak in court when the gavel dropped. But as the liquor warmed my chest, a ping from LuxGlow's HR feed caught my eye, tagged in a whisper network, the kind that moves faster than likes. Brianna's sponsor was scrambling emergency call scheduled for dawn. Her storm was turning, and I was just getting started. Her video dropped that evening right as the sun dipped behind the skyline. "The Truth Behind the Ring," she titled it. Thumbnail. Her face streaked with mascara, that engagement photo faded into the background like a ghost. I didn't click play, no need. The algorithm served it up anyway, clips bleeding into my feed, her voice cracking over sad piano swells. I thought he was my forever, but I found messages. Proof he was seeing someone else. I deserve better. We all do. Views spiked to 50,000 in the first hour. Comments split like fault lines, her loyalists rallying with fire emojis and queen energy. The skeptics, they poked holes but drowned in the tide. "Source," one asked. "Trust me, it's real," she sobbed on camera, clutching a tissue like a shield. Tabloids latched on by midnight BuzzFeed-style headlines screaming "Influencer's heartbreak, fiancé exposed in viral cheating scandal." Shares hit 6 figures. My name dragged through the mud, linked to grainy stock photos of anonymous tech bro. I watched the metrics from my dashboard, not her face. Engagement graphs climbed like a fever. Her brand mentions through the roof at first, then a dip as the outrage cooled into questions. Sponsors don't like mess. They like polish. LuxGlow's socials went quiet. No reposts, no stories. Just crickets. By morning, the backlash loop tightened. She went live again, shorter this time, fielding fan questions with more tears. "Noah's always been private. That's why it hurts so much." Private. Yeah, that's code for "I control the narrative." I sipped my coffee black, scrolling the fallout. Mutual friends messaged, "You okay, man?" Zach forwarded a screenshot of her blocking him. She's spiraling, but the real storm brewed behind closed doors. I got the ping at 9 sharp, an internal alert from a contact at LuxGlow's parent company. Their HR dashboard lit up like a war room. Reputation risk assessment high. Brianna's contract up for quarterly review next week. Now emergency huddle. Board-level email chain CC'd to legal, influencer alignment compromised. Immediate review of Hale partnership. Potential termination clause, invocation clauses, 4.2 and 7.1. I didn't hack it. No need. Public filings and a quick hoise on their domain spat out the structure. Glassdoor whispers filled in the rest. LuxGlow's brass-hated scandals. One whiff of toxicity, and they axed ambassadors faster than a bad batch of serum. Her video, it wasn't just personal ammo. It was a grenade in their boardroom. She must have felt the chill. Her stories shifted by noon, less weepy, more empowered glow-up. But the damage log was already written. I archived it all, video timestamps, view, velocity, sentiment scores, pulling from free API scrapes. Another layer for Sarah. Pattern of escalation, I'd tell her. From post to pity party. Malice confirmed. From the conference room, whispers to the shareholder ticker, emotions always lose to risk. It's the unspoken rule of the corporate chessboard. One viral sob story might juice your metrics short-term, but when the C-suite crunches, the numbers, tears don't balance the books. Brands aren't built on heartbreak reels. They're fortified against them. HR's hammer isn't personal, it's procedural, a blunt instrument forged in liability waivers and NDAs swinging down the moment your authenticity threatens the bottom line. Picture it, that sterile boardroom fluorescent hum, overhead execs in starched collars flipping through dashboards. Your influencer's feed. It's not a fan club. It's a liability ledger. One spike in negative mentions, and the algorithm flags it, red alert, reputation. Erosion projected at 15% quarterly dip. They don't debate your pain. They model the fallout. Lost ad revenue quantified in real time. Stock tickler sent before coffee's cold. The hammer drops, clean contract pause, then probe. Alignment review. Sounds soft, right? It's code for autopsy. They subpoena your metrics, engagement fraud check. Toxicity score off the charts. And that emotional pivot you thought was genius, it backfires spectacularly. Fans smell the script, sponsors smell the smoke. Suddenly your truth isn't empowering, It's expensive. That's the poetry of it. No fists, no fury. Just the quiet thud of a termination notice emailed at 4:58 on a Friday. Your spotlight dims not because they hate you, but because they hedge against you. Emotions fuel the fire. Risk douses it. And in the end, the board doesn't care about your story. They care about the scorecard. Swing wide and the hammer finds its mark every time. Brianna's live cut off mid-sentence that afternoon. And I just want to say to everyone supporting black screen, technical difficulties, her caption read. But the group chat screenshots leaked by evening, her manager blowing up her phone. Luxglow wants a call, now. What the hell was that video? I closed the tab, poured another coffee. Her counterpunch. It landed in her own glass house. The network that crowned her was cracking, and as the sun set on day 2, my inbox lit up not with hate, but with her. A direct message time-stamped 6:12 p.m. We need to talk. This got out of hand. Out of hand. Understatement of the year. I let it sit, unread evidence piling like snow. Talk sure. But not in her arena. In Sarah's. Where words had weight and lies had a price tag. The reconciliation invite came next morning. Neutral ground, her lawyer's office. Let's end this quietly. The email read, quietly, as if she hadn't screamed it to the world. I forwarded it straight to Sarah. Trap, she replied in seconds. She's buying time. Pushed for mediation terms. No concessions. But as I suited up for the meeting, Zach texted, Dude, tabloids are circling back. Her side's leaking new evidence. You see it, I hadn't. But I would. And when I did, the twist in her proof would unravel faster than her brand. The hammer was mid-swing. Her court, it was just warming up. The mediation room felt like a pressure cooker, with the heat turned low. Neutral ground, they called it, a sterile conference suite in a downtown high-rise, all chrome edges and chairs that pinched your spine. Brianna sat opposite, wedged between her lawyer and a publicist who typed furiously on a tablet. She looked smaller than I remembered, the ring still on her finger like a defiant flag. Sarah Kim flanked me, her leather folder open like a shield expression locked in neutral. No greetings, no feigned warmth. We cut to the chase. Her lawyer, a pinstripe weasel with a perpetual squint, led off. My client extends her deepest regrets for the impulsive post. It stemmed from a place of raw emotion. We're offering a full public retraction and a joint statement to clarify the misunderstanding. Brianna nodded, eyes glassy, the model of remorse. But I saw the tell, her foot tapping under the table, a rhythm only I knew from late-night arguments. Sarah didn't waste breath. Regrets don't erase the 12,000 impressions of outright libel, or the professional fallout for Mr. Ellis' client calls drying up whispers in his industry circles. Terms: immediate retraction, verifiable scrub of all shares and derivatives, and $150,000 in damages. That's our floor. The air thickened. Pinstripe countered quick. Absurd. 10,000 settlement, only no fault admitted. Brianna leaned in, then voice a practiced quiver. Noah, please. This is destroying me. Can't we fix it for what we had? What we had. The phrase landed like a gut punch wrapped in velvet. I held her stare, calm as a locked server. There is no we anymore. Hasn't been since 7:42 that morning. Her lawyer slid over a slim folder, blurry texts from a ghost number, flirty threads time-stamped to overlap my Vegas trip. A photo, to me arm, slung around a faceless blur in some dive bar geotag screaming infidelity. Hard evidence, Your Honor will agree? Sarah's turn. She eased the folder back, plugging in her drive with deliberate slowness. Discovery will tell, but let's preview. The projector hummed to life. Exhibit A original post captured 7:45 a.m., hash locked. Timeline post at 7:42, my client's home GPS at 7:43, no travel window. Utility ping from his router, 7:44. Even the lobby cam badge swipe, solo coffee in hand, 7:38. Brianna's publicist shifted. Objection from pinstripe speculation. The mediator, a gray-haired pro with a gavel tattoo peeking from his cuff, overruled. Context is king here, Sarah clicked on. Cloud Triplicate's access logged. No edits. Just her narrative unchallenged until now. The room hung on the flow arrows linking post to proof, a digital daisy chain unbreakable as blockchain. Pinstripe rallied, cueing their visuals. We rest on this. The screen filled with those faked texts, emojis winking like lies. The bar shot blew up me mid-laugh, arm extended. Murmurs from her side. Brianna's chin lifted a spark of triumph. Sarah exhaled slow. Cross granted. The mediator nodded. She advanced, voice even. Forensic breakdown, independent cert. Layers stripped, on-screen image autopsy in real time. Bar photo composite splice, 12% opacity mismatch on the arm overlay. EXIF scrubbed but ghosts linger, stock library origin 2018 vintage. Time zone flip Pacific to Mountain 3-hour drift. No native Vegas tag. Brianna paled. The publicist froze mid-type. Oh. Texts. Sarah pressed, undeterred. Burner Sim bought same-day IP traces to her building. GPS app forged headers edited 8:15 a.m. post-hour. Sloppy but telling. The judge wait mediator leaned in, brow furrowed. Pinstripe sputtered. This is premature. Sarah closed strong. It's not theory. It's teardown. The truth doesn't flinch under the lens. But let's dissect that flip deeper, because gotcha moments like this. They're the elegant takedown of smoke and mirrors where tech turns trickery inside out. Forensic image work isn't wizardry. It's workflow peeling a phony pic like an onion till the fraud weeps. Kick off with error-level analysis, pristine uniformity screams edit. Jagged anomalies yell clone stamp. Metadata's the silent snitch. XIF data clings like lint-spilling device models, edit histories. Even the software footprint Photoshop layer ghosts don't lie. Zoom on edges, shadow inconsistencies, color halos, where real light wouldn't bleed. Clone detection maps the paste job, pixel for pixel matches from unrelated sources. Time zone traps. Killer. A Vegas night shot with Eastern echoes busted. Tools are free and fierce. Photo forensics for ELA heat maps, EXIF tool for header dives. Courts devour it, repeatable empirical flipping, believe me, to busted C-line 12. The beauty. It's bloodless justice. No shouting matches, just data dismantling the delusion. One layer mismatch and the facade fractures pixels as witnesses, turning her spotlight stunt into a self-sewn tripwire. Probe right and fakery floats exposed, while truth anchors deep. It's the quiet thrill, her weapon repurposed, carving credibility from the con. The mediator cleared his throat. Compelling counsel. Ms. Hale. Brianna's lawyer hemmed promising rebuttals, but the wind had shifted eyes on her now, not me. We wrapped at 11, no handshakes. Sarah gathered files. Check, she murmured as we hit the elevator. Mates in sight. Rain slicked the streets outside, umbrellas blooming like black flowers. My phone vibrated, Akim. Her feed's imploding. Fact-check threads everywhere. Lux glows ghosting her hard. Ghosting. Fitting. The sponsor's silence. It was the prelude to Severance, their risk models redlining her as toxic cargo. Brianna's truth tour, it had circled back, biting its own tail. And as I ducked into a cab, Sarah's text pinged, prep for round 2. Her team's scrambling. Scrambling wouldn't save her. The lens had focused. Her empire's next leak, it would be blood, not tears. The gavel's echo hadn't even faded when the first domino tipped. Court adjourned at noon, but by 2 LuxGlow's termination notice hit her inbox like a brick through glass. I didn't see it firsthand, no dramatic screenshot leak from her side. But Sarah's network, it hummed with confirmations. Reputation risk too high. The email read per the whisper chain. Clause 7.1 invoked immediate dissolution of the ambassador agreement, effective end of business. No severance, no bridge contract. Just a polite, thank you for your contributions, buried in legalese with a non-disclosure kicker to muzzle any public sob story. Brianna's feed went dark around 3. No stories, no lives. Just a bio update. taking time to reflect, grateful for the journey. Her followers noticed. Comments piled up. Queen, you okay? Don't let them silence you. But the tide it was turning. Fact-check threads from the morning's hearing spread like dry grass fire. Independent bloggers dissecting the forensics reposting Sarah's timeline with infographics that made her evidence look like kindergarten cut and paste. My name trended not as cheater, but as the guy who hashed his way to justice. Shares hit viral velocity by sundown. Zach called at 4, voice buzzing. Bro, it's flipping. Her stands are turning into skeptics. LuxGlow's stock dipped 0.5 point on the noise alone. You see the memes, don't fake the funk if you can't hash the junk. I chuckled low and dry. Hashtags won't pay the bills. But yeah, it's the quiet ones who rewrite the script. By evening, the settlement offer landed, her lawyer voice clipped over speakerphone with Sarah. $180,000. Close to our ask. Full retraction scripted to post by midnight. I misspoke in a moment of hurt. No infidelity occurred. Apologies to Noah Ellis. Verifiable deletes of every trace from archives to caches. No joint statement. No we're good facade. Just her solo eating crow under courtroom lights. Sarah patched me in from her office, city lights blurring behind her. They blinked first. Wire transfer by Friday. Sign and it's done. I paused, staring at the rain-streaked window. 180,000, not a fortune, but a firewall. A fund for the next audit tool or that cabin upstate I'd eyed for unplugging. More than money, the ledger balanced. Her lies logged and litigated. My silence, it spoke volumes. We inked it virtual e-signatures, flying like white flags. By 10, her retraction glowed, live pinned, promoted, pathetic. Views crawled, not climbed. The comments, brutal. Too little, too late. Lost my follow, authenticity matters. Her follower count down 15% overnight. Brands that courted her pre-scandal radio silence now scouting fresh faces with cleaner feeds. Sarah wrapped the call with her signature line delivered deadpan over the line. Silence isn't weakness, Noah. It's procedure. You didn't shout. You structured. And that's why the boardroom bows. Procedure. Yeah, that's the unsung hero in all this. The invisible ink that turns personal wreckage into professional win. But let's talk about the real fallout. The collapse of that fragile social capital, the kind built on likes and illusions crumbling under its own weight. It's a house of cards in a hurricane where one verified lie topples the tower. You pour years into curating the Glow-sponsored posts, filtered facades, that veneer of vulnerability that hooks the horde. But authenticity, it's a myth you sell till the subpoena strips it bare. Amidu, watch it unfold. The follower bleed starts subtle, a trickle of unfollows from the discerning, the ones who sniff script over sincerity. Then the Exodus brands bolt, sensing the stink of scandal, their legal teams flagging your feed as high-risk association. Revenue dries faster than a bad filter fades. That 6-figure sponsor deal poof clauses activate penalties pile. Your empire shrinks to echoes, engagement evaporating as algorithms demote the drama queen. And the poetry, it's self-inflicted. You weaponized whispers for clout. Now they weaponize against you. Whispers in boardrooms, she's toxic. In group chats, dodged a bullet. The capital you cashed in on trust traded like stock defaults to zero when the prospectus proves phony. No bailouts. No pity follows. Just the hollow scroll of a ghost account reminding you social's a solvent asset, only if it's solvent. Build on sand, and the tide takes it all. Lesson etched: true equity isn't in the likes. It's in the ledger you can't fake. I powered down the laptop that night, the screen's glow finally dimming without protest. No victory lap post, no humble brag tweet. Just a walk to the kitchen, pulling a beer from the fridge, cold, crisp, earned. The city hummed outside, oblivious. My phone quiet for once. Zach texted a thumbs-up emoji. Sarah followed with case closed. Brianna blocked long ago, her notifications a non-issue. But the real shift hit at dawn. I woke to sunlight slicing the blinds, no knot in my gut. Coffee brewed automatic, black and strong. Work email pinged, firm lead on a new contract, my name floated for point. No side eyes, no, that guy from the scandal. Just merit measured in code lines and close rates. The public pivot sealed it by noon. Sentiment charts. Sarah pulled. A U-turn sharp as a server pivot. Negative buzz on her 87%. On me reversed to positive with spikes on strategic silence and digital due diligence. Podcasts clipped the hearing audio, framing it as the hash that humbled her. I didn't listen. No need. The story wrote itself. That's the courtroom of screens for you, the ultimate arbiter, where pixels prosecute and timelines testify. It's not marble halls and gavels. It's the feed that filters fact from fiction, demoting deceivers in real time. You drop a dud claim, and the jury scrolls in algorithms as bailiffs serving up your spliced sins to a swipe-happy public. One forensic flag and your verdict's viral, guilty of guile, sentenced to shadow ban. Engage the ecosystem. Right seed doubt with data and watch the hive mind it home. Fact-checkers feast threads, thread the needle through your narrative, exposing edits like veins under UV. Brands, they bolt before the bailiff bangs, reputation APIs, redlining your risk score, contracts, auto-canceling on clause triggers. The bar higher than you think, authenticity audited every post a potential exhibit. Play loose and the court convenes in comments exposed. Unfollowed. Unreal. The genius, it's democratized justice, no robes required. Just right-click, report, and rinse. Your spotlight, it swings back, blinding the builder of fakes. In this tribunal, truth, timestamps, triumph, logged, linked, lasting. Lie loud, and the screens shout back. Fair, fierce, and forever archived. Sarah nailed it in her exit memo. We could have dragged it to trial, but settlement's smarter, your peace, her price. Peace. Yeah, that's the payout I craved most. No more midnight scrolls dissecting her spin. Just forward code, clean lines, a life unhashed by her haze. Zach swung by that weekend, cracking beers on the balcony. You didn't need the applause, man, but damn, it feels good anyway. I raised my bottle. Didn't chase it. Earned it. He grinned. That's the move. Quiet kings don't crown themselves. As the sun dipped, casting gold over the harbor, I felt the weight lift, not gone, but redistributed. Her storm scattered. Mine clear skies ahead. But in the quiet, after one question lingered. What if the next chapter's not revenge, but rewrite a fresh proposal, not to her, but to the life I deserved? Unfiltered. Uncompromised. The ring box sat on the shelf, dust-free. Not a relic. A reminder. And as city lights flickered on, I wondered whose move now. The settlement wired through on Friday morning, clean as a server sink. $180,000 minus Sarah's cut, tidy taxable, tucked into high-yield savings before lunch. I didn't celebrate with champagne or a steak dinner. Just a quiet upgrade, new noise-canceling headphones for the commute, the kind that blocked out digital static and real-world chatter alike. Back to the grind, but lighter now. Unburdened. Monday hit like a reset button. My desk at the firm waited unchanged, dual monitors, humming inbox, at 70, unread, the usual audit queue stacked like bricks. No side glances from the team. No, how's the personal stuff, whispers in the break room. The lead analyst gig solidified over coffee with my boss. Heard you handled that noise like a pro, he said, clapping my shoulder. Focus here. We've got a breach sim starting Tuesday. I nodded. Facts over fallout. Code over chaos. The real pivot came midweek. An invite pinged from the Cybersecurity Guild keynote slot at their quarterly symposium. Digital truth and online justice, safeguarding your narrative in the age of algorithms. I stared at the subject line, thumb hovering. Not my lane. I built firewalls, not TED Talks. But Sarah texted right after, do it. Your story's the hook. Anonymize the names, drop the hashes. They'll eat it up. She was right. I prepped an evening slides, sparse timelines like the one that buried Brianna's bluff hashes as hero's silence as strategy. No victim arc, just playbook capture, chain counter. The venue was a midtown auditorium, 300 seats, mix of suits and scrubs, nursing lattes. I stepped to the podium at two lights warm, mic clipped crisp. We've all been there. I opened, voice steady, no notes. One post, one pixelated lie, and your world's trending for all the wrong reasons. The room leaned in as I walked the timeline post to preservation forensics, flipping the script. Gasps at the splice reveal nods at the settlement close. It's not about revenge, I said, clicking to the final slide, a simple flowchart endnode labeled Reclaim. It's reclamation. You don't shout into the void. You log it, lock it, litigate it. Your truth isn't viral, it's verifiable. Q&A ran long. A junior dev asked about tools, free ones first. I stressed browser extensions for captures, SHA generators online. A manager probed ethics. Doesn't it escalate the drama? I paused, letting the question breathe. Only if you let it. Silence escalates nothing. It redirects. Applause hit as I stepped down cards, exchanged a podcast scout slipping me his info. Zach texted from the back row, "Killed it, man. Quiet king energy." Brianna's sighed. A mirror cracked. Her retraction post lingered like a bad hangover. Views flatlining, comments, a graveyard of crickets and cuts. By week's end, the purge started. Stories of her packing boxes leaked through Mutual's U-Haul booked for the coast, that influencer loft sublet on the cheap. Her grid gutted. One by one, posts vanishing, glow-ups, scrubbed sponsored hauls, deleted our engagement shot, the last to go time-stamped midnight on a Thursday. I didn't stalk it. No need. Zach forwarded the finale, her final story, a black screen with white text. Logging off for real. Thanks for the ride. Then poof, account suspended or deleted, who knows. Tabloids speculated disgraced influencer flees to rehab. But the real tea? Her manager jumped ship, LuxGlow's blackball rippling to every brand in her Rolodex. No gigs, no glow. Just echoes in empty inboxes. Zach's text came Sunday night as I grilled steaks on the balcony, first real meal without a screen in hand. Saw her cities out. You win 'cause you didn't play their rules, bro. No noise. All net. I thumbed back. Rules are for boards. We code the game. He fired a chess knight emoji. Fitting. Two timelines parallel now, no overlap. Mine symposium buzz turning to consulting pings, a date lined up with a data ethicist, coffee, no cameras conversation that flowed like unencrypted lines. Hers faded filters, a ghost, in some coastal rental rebuilding from blanks. No hate in the thought, just symmetry. Her spotlight scripted the split. My strategy sealed it. But as the sun dipped, city lights winking on like new code compiling, I felt the pull of something bigger. Not closure, catalyst. That ring box on the shelf, it gathered no dust. A prop, no more. And in the quiet, with Zach's words echoing one truth sharpened, the real checkmate isn't the endgame. It's the board you claim for the next. The symposium invite had sparked it, a ripple turning to wave. By Friday, 2 more slots booked, a fintech panel on evidence in the ether, then a guest lecture at my alma mater. Students packed the hall, eyes wide as I demoed a live hash innocent tweet, turned tamper-proof in seconds. This isn't tech, I told them, projector glowing. It's armor. Wear it before the arrows fly. Word spread offline too. Old clients circled back, one dropping a 6-month retainer for personal audit services. Sarah joked over lunch. You're the Whisper Network's white knight now. Pro bono for friends. I laughed. Only if they bring the coffee. Life layered up, not louder, just leveled. Gym routine locked in, runs along the river at dawn, no earbuds, just breath and beat. Brianna's trail went cold fast. A mutual spotted her in a beach town dive, waitressing, they said no ring light in sight. Her old feed repurposed by some newbie creator, recycling her aesthetics without the scandals. LuxGlow, they pivoted hard, new face in frame, all fresh starts and flawless skin. Karma's quiet churn, no thunder, just the slow grind of gears turning back on themselves. Zach crashed that weekend, beers in hand balcony, overlooking the harbor. Timeline splits poetic, huh? You building empires, her building sandcastles? We clinked bottles, watching freighters glide. Not empires, I corrected. Just solid ground. He nodded, scrolling his own feed, clean, curated, no drama. Learned from the master. As night fell, stars pricking the sky, inspiration hummed low. That ethicist date, it bloomed into dinners, debates over dark web ethics till midnight. No posts, no proofs needed, just presence. Real, unscripted. Her world faded to footnotes. A single DM leak from an ex-collab, she's off-grid, says the algorithm ate her soul. I archived it out of habit, not for court, for the close. Two paths diverged not in yellow woods but in pixel paths. Mine led forward fortified. Hers looped back lessons etched in losses, Zach's parting shot as he left. You didn't just win the game, you changed the rules. I watched his taillights fade, then turned inside. Laptop open not for logs but lines of blog outline maybe. Beyond the hash living uncompromised. Fingers hovered. Hit save. The board was mine now. Clear. Ready for play. But what if the next move wasn't defense? What if it was declare? The ring sat heavy in my palm that final morning. Simple platinum band, 1-carat solitaire picked out in a quiet jeweler's back room. No fanfare, just her hand in mine as I slid it on over cold counterglass. Now it was a relic. Not of love lost, but lessons etched. I tucked it into the velvet box, snapped the lid with a soft click. Evidence and dignity. Two sides of the same coin. One proved the lie. The other preserved the man. I set it on the shelf beside the old server rack, dusty now, a holdover from college hacks. No shrine, just a marker. A postscript to the chapter where her pixels tried to pixelate me out. The apartment felt bigger without her ghost in the frame. Cleaner lines. Space to breathe. Laptop hummed one last time. Final archive sweep, all files zipped, hashed, stowed in cold storage. No loose ends. Sarah's closing email blinked in the tray. Case sealed. You're free. Free. Yeah. Not the fireworks kind. The kind where the weight shifts from shoulders to sails. I powered it down. Screen black. Screen door creaked open to the balcony, morning light spilling in like spilled code, raw, unfiltered. City stirred below horns, faint joggers blurring paths, the harbor glinting under a sky scrubbed clean by last night's rain. First breath hit deep. No knot. No scroll. Just now. Zach's words from the weekend echoed faint. You win, 'cause you didn't play their rules. Rules. Hers were spotlights and scripts, every exit a stage left. Mine timestamps and turns, quiet vectors cutting through the noise. We'd clink to that over fading embers, stakes charred just right. He left with a nod. Next round's yours to call. Coffee steamed black in the mug, single origin, no cream. Sipped slow, watching the world reboot. Work pinged, symposium follow-up, a panel slot in Philly next month. Your take on digital due process gold? I thumbed yes. Not for the stage, for the stack. One more layer in the ledger, Brianna's shadow. Faint now, like a deleted draft. Whispers said she'd surfaced in some sun-bleached town, waitressing shifts between waves. No grid, no glow. The algorithm moved on her old haunts, repurposed by hungrier hands. Luxglow's new face beamed flawless from Billboard's irony's quiet wink. Her retraction buried in archives, a footnote few scrolled to. Karma didn't crow. It compounded. But closure. That's the myth we chase. Real wins linger softer. In the boardroom silences where her tears turned toxic. In the follower fade that followed her fakes. In my inbox, clean of accusations, stacked with audits that paid in purpose. I stepped further out, rail cool under palms. Sun climbed higher, warming the chill. That ethicist Lena Sharpmind over shared salads texted last night. Coffee tomorrow, no agendas. No. Just her laugh, unscripted, cutting through the small talk like clean syntax. We'd talked hashes over tiramisu, her eyes lighting on the timeline twist. Smart, not savage. Progress. Unposted. The box on the shelf caught light from the window, a glint, then gone. Reminder enough. Dignity isn't the ring you give. It's the one you keep when the script flips. And that's where the real correction lands, not in courts or captions, but in the 72-hour rule that turns public poison into private power. Picture it, the clock starts ticking the second their post drops that 72-hour window etched in retraction laws across half the states. Not a suggestion, a statute. You don't rush the rebuttal or rage scroll the replies. You log it, lawyer it, and let the timer teach them truth has teeth, but procedure bites deeper. Step 1. Capture clean hash. Immediate your digital notary stamping the smear before it spreads. Step 2. Demand in writing certified clocking their countdown. Retract or respond. It reads polite as a parking ticket, but packing the punch of perjury threats. They squirm in that span, fans, fracturing sponsors, scanning clauses, the feed festering from fervor to doubt. By hour 48, panic pings their publicist, pull it now. The beauty, it's self-sealing. Miss the mark and malice mounts punitive damages stacking like undeleted drafts. Courts clock it too timely, correction cuts the cord on good faith, leaving their narrative naked. No apologies needed on your end. Just the envelope, the evidence, the exhale. 72 hours isn't grace. It's the guillotine's shadow-slicing spotlight from spin. We mythologize the mic drop, but real reckonings. They're the quiet chime of compliance, the crawl of a crawlback post admitting error in haste. Your win whispers, I didn't amplify the absurd. I archived it. And in that public pivot, justice journals itself, not in vengeance, but vindication served cold on deadline. TikTok. Their move. Your piece. Sarah called it right in her wrap-up. You structured the storm. Most drown in it. Structured. Yeah. That's the thread from fracture to firmament. No heroes in hindsight. Just habits. Hash first. Heart second. I drained the mug, set it by the sink. Keys in pocket. Door locked behind. The hallway light felt warmer stairs, lighter underfoot. Elevator hummed down, spilling me into the street bustle. A vendor hawked papers headlines on unrelated hacks worlds away from mine. 3 truths flickered on the mental ticker as I walked 72 hours to correct the course. Speak in facts, not fury. Let silence strategize the save. No neon signs. No victory reels. Just billboards in the brain etched for the next round. The ethicist's spot waited 2 blocks over corner table window view. Lena waved from inside, smile easy. I pushed through the doorbell, tinkling soft. Morning, she said, sliding a menu. Ready to debug the day? I sat, nodded. Always. Outside, the city pulsed on unscripted, uncompromised. My board, my play. And for the first time in months, the game's grace felt like gravity's gift. Downward, no upward, unyielding. Don't chase the noise, speak in proof.